Hello, my name's Christina Stevenson, and I'm here with the wonderful Manchester Libraries to help celebrate the Summer Reading Challenge. This year's theme is the Silly Squad, and I'm going to read you another story about a character of mine with a very silly name. He's called Sir Charlie Stinky Socks. The adventure he's going on today features an egg and something that comes out of that egg. It goes roar. Can you guess what it might be? I'd like to thank Egmont Books for letting me read this story, and you can find out more about the Summer Reading Challenge at summerreadingchallenge.org.uk. Are you ready for a story? Sir Charlie Stinky Socks, The Dinosaurs Return, by me, Christina Stevenson. Once upon a moonlit night, in a museum of marvellous things, high on a shelf where a cat was sleeping, something began to stir. You see, amongst the treasures and trinkets on the shelf, there was a most unusual egg, and the cat's warm fur and gentle purr were waking whatever was inside it. Tippity-tap, tippity-tap, the shell began to crack, and out came the strangest little something the cat had ever seen. Oh my! How fortunate then that Sir Charlie Stinky Socks was studying maps in the museum that night and heard his cat Envelope calling. Meow! Map in hand, he bounded over to help his faithful friend. Jinkies, said Sir Charlie when he saw the little something. Whatever could it be? Unknown egg, found at the foot of Thunder Mountain, in the middle of the big blue sea. I don't know what this little something is, said Sir Charlie, but we need to take it home. Thunder Mountain was on the map, so Sir Charlie charted a course. He polished his sword and pocketed some string which he'd kept from his last adventure, and with a rallying cry of "To Thunder Mountain!" he mounted his good grey mare. Clip-clop, clip-clop, clippity-clippity-clop, down to the harbour to borrow a boat from a pirate Sir Charlie knew. "I promise to bring back your boat," called Sir Charlie as they headed for the horizon. Sir Charlie and his friends sailed through the night by the light of a silvery moon, and by morning they'd reached the spot on the map where the mountain was meant to be. But where was Thunder Mountain? All they could see was sea. Sir Charlie looked at the map again. "That's odd," he said to the others. Just then, the boat gave a mighty lurch as it tipped and started to spin. "Hold on tight," said the knowing knight. "I think we're in a whirlpool." The swirling, whirling, watery tunnel sucked the adventurers down. It tipped them out of the little boat. It tossed them this way and that. Then it spat them out, one by one, at the foot of Thunder Mountain. But the boat had been smashed to smithereens. All that was left was a barrel. "Oh no," said Sir Charlie. "I promised the pirate I'd bring back his boat. Now what am I going to do?" But before he had time to think of a plan, he heard a terrible rumbling. "Holy smoke!" said Sir Charlie Stinky Socks, scooping up the barrel. "Thunder Mountain's a volcano, and I think it's going to blow. Let's find this creature's family quickly." They searched the island for signs of life, but they didn't have any luck. So they climbed to the top of the mountain to see what they could see. But the ground was shaking, the cat was quaking, and poor old Envelope slipped. Oh no! Sir Charlie Stinky Socks, to the rescue! Into the crater dived the knight, followed by the good grey mare. They whizzed down a vent at mighty speed, marvelling as they went past walls of multicoloured minerals and precious stones galore. Luckily, they landed softly at the bottom in a chamber full of ash. "Hooray and hurrah!" said Sir Charlie. "There isn't any lava. Thunder Mountain will never erupt." But Envelope wasn't there. "Oh my! He's lost," gasped the worried knight. "We have to go and find him." They hurried out of the dusty chamber, but didn't get very far. "Yikes!" said Sir Charlie to his terrified horse as they teetered on the brink. "And I think we've shrunk," he said when he realised that everything else was enormous. Just then, Sir Charlie spotted Envelope way off in the distance with the little something who'd grown much bigger trotting along behind. "We need to go after them," said Sir Charlie, "but there's no way down. Unless..." Without thinking twice, that brilliant knight whipped off his stripy stockings. He tied them together, made a loop, and swung the lasso in the air. The good grey mare didn't dare to look as they flew across the land, but this had to be the most beautiful place Sir Charlie had ever seen. A perfect, peaceful paradise filled with fabulous things. And there was Envelope just below. "Tally-ho!" cried the knight. "Time to jump," said Sir Charlie, spotting a crystal pool. "On my count," he said to the horse. 1, 2, 3. Splash! "Perfect landing," said Sir Charlie. Except the gulping grey mare couldn't swim. "Phew!" huffed the knight as he heaved his horse onto a nearby island. "And Envelope can't be very far away. Why don't I use the smell from my stockings to let him know we're here?" Sir Charlie wafted his socks in the air and waited to see what would happen. But before he could tell if his plan had worked, the pool began to bubble. "Uh-oh, we're in trouble," said Sir Charlie, as the island lifted its head. They heard it roar. Then they saw dinosaurs, shrieked Sir Charlie, "and they're heading straight for us." Rumble, rumble, boom, bash. "So that's why it's called Thunder Mountain," he shouted, but the good grey mare didn't hear him. The horse had fainted with fright at the sight of the dinosaur's teeth and claws. Closer and closer came the thundering beasts. Sir Charlie couldn't bear it. He held his breath. He covered his eyes. He prepared for his terrible fate. But wait a second. Nothing happened. So Sir Charlie took a peek. gasped Sir Charlie when he saw what was happening behind him. The dinosaurs hadn't been charging at him. They'd spotted something much sweeter. They'd run straight past the knight and his horse to be with their missing baby. That clever cat Envelope had followed the smell from Sir Charlie Stinky Socks, and without even realising what he was doing, he'd brought the little dinosaur home. Oh! Sir Charlie hugged his faithful cat and patted his good grey mare. This really was the most perfect place the knight had ever seen. But we don't want any more eggs getting lost or people coming down here to spoil things, he said. We have to seal up the crater. But then, how will we get home? Time for a truly ingenious knight to come up with a brilliant plan. He did. Rumble, 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 rumble. Back to the bottom of the volcano they went, borrowing a boat on the way. Quick as a flash, in the chamber of ash, Sir Charlie got to work. He tied his socks to the pirate's new boat and his string to a torch which he'd lit. Now all I need, he said with a smile, is a lot of hot air. Huffety, puffety, puff! Grateful dinosaurs, to the rescue! Wow! Sir Charlie and his friends were heading home. Up, up, and away! But hold your horses. That's not the end. Take another look. Can you see the trail of gunpowder, the barrel, and the string? Can you guess what's going to happen? When the flying boat was clear of the crater, Sir Charlie pulled the string. Kapow! Thunder Mountain burst into life, sending multicoloured minerals and precious stones galore soaring high up into the sky before sealing the crater with boulders. Hurrah! That should do it! Cheered Sir Charlie as they headed for the horizon. But gosh, said the knight, looking back at the fireworks, how do we follow that? Who's in the mood, he said with a smile, for a really big adventure? The end. And I hope you have a really big adventure on your summer reading challenge. Read or look at any sort of book you want to, as long as you enjoy it. Thank you so much to Manchester Libraries for having me here, and thank you for watching.